In this example, I'm going to take you through setting up a new Outlook profile for a POP, IMAP, SMTP type account. So you don't do this actually in Outlook. You start in Control Panel. It's the easiest way to get it done and the safest. So you go to Control Panel. And in Control Panel, you're going to look for this icon, Mail. Now, it may be named different. It might be Outlook 2016, whatever. Regardless what it's called, it will be called Mail. It'll have either just Mail, or it'll have a long name, but it'll be Mail. Click it. That'll bring you to this Outlook setup, and we want to go to Show Profiles. These are the current profiles on the computer. And in this box here are the list of the current email profiles. We don't want to get rid of that profile. We want to save that profile, keep that profile, just in case something goes haywire and we have to go back to the original user's email. All right, so in this case, we're going to add a profile, and we might call it SiteGround John, so we can define, so we're clear as to what it is. Say OK. And you'll come to this box, and you'll want to go down here to Manual. Select Manual, go Next, and then select POP or IMAP. Next. And you'll come up to this panel here, and this is where you're going to put your name, whatever that account name is, your email, and this is where you're going to select the account type. It's either POP or IMAP. IMAP has some upsides and it has some downsides. Right now, if you're using Yahoo, Verizon Bizmail, it is POP3. I'll show you that here in a second. So here you're going to put your email incoming server. That is the server that Outlook connects to bring the email down to you. This is typically the POP. You're going to set up your outgoing, which is typically your SMTP. Just to give you some examples here, let me show you how it is currently at your account. So this is some examples of what that screen will look like. Okay, so here is what a AAA text screen looks like. The account type is POP3. This is the name of the incoming email server. You have to get this from your email service provider. So in this case, SiteGround is going to tell you what that address is here and what address you should use here. Then you come down to the login information. That's your username and the password for that particular email account on whatever these servers are right here. All right. Now, once you've got that, you still have to go here to More Settings, because there's going to be some additional settings that they're going to tell you about. All right. And when you get to that More Settings, you're going to come over here to Outgoing. You're going to want to make sure you select this. My outgoing server requires authentication, and the most common setting is use same setting as my incoming server. In other words, use the same username and password to send email as I use to log in and get email. Then you're going to go to the Advanced tab, and this is information you have to get from SiteGround. On their email server, what is the incoming, the POP3 port number that is used? 995 is popular, 110 is popular. There's a number of different port numbers, and your email service provider tells you what port number. Then they'll tell you, do you need SSL? If you do, you check that box. Then for the outgoing email, what is the port number they prefer? Oftentimes it's 25, 465, 587. There's all sorts of numbers that are used, port numbers that can be used. And the service provider, SiteGround, has to tell you what port. And that'll be in the setup information they provide you. And then in the drop down, you're going to tell them, or set, whether it's SSL, TLS, and they'll tell you what that should be as well. On the timeout, you can see here I've got this set for 1 minute. 1 minute's really not long enough. You should pump that up to about 3 minutes. And the reason for that is that y'all do some fairly large documents. And so this is how long will it try to download an email message before it gives up. So if you're receiving some large PDFs, other types of attachments or hard documents, you don't want this thing timing out in the middle of an email download. So I usually set it for about 3 minutes. Then on the delivery, this is the standard. Leave a copy of the message on the server and remove the message after 14 days. It's just a precaution. If something goes haywire, the messages that are on the server, those will be only those in the inbox. In POP mail, only the inbox is the message box that is saved or maintained on the server. Any folders you create in Outlook, none of that happens up at the server. If you lose your desktop or lose Outlook, you would lose all that email. For example, if you had your email only on one computer, and that computer were to die, blow up, explode, burn down, whatever, the only email you would have in archive to go back to would be this 14 days in the inbox. And this is normal for POP. And you don't want to set it much higher than that because you will run out of space on your POP. This is the industry standard. Okay. All right, so once you've set this up and you've got these passwords and everything right, you've got all the servers correct, you've got the password right, you're going to click Next, and it will run an automatic test to confirm those settings are correct. When it's done, it'll be successful, you'll end up back at this screen right here. When you get back to this screen, there'll be another profile in this box, and you want to select this for the moment. Prompt for a profile to be used. Now, you're not going to do this on everybody's because it will confuse the hell out of them. Okay, you're only going to do this on a couple until you get comfortable with the fact that it's working. Prompt for a profile to be used, and then click OK. Outlook. When you go to Open Outlook, it will present you with this box as to which profile. Do you want to use your old Yahoo profile? Of course, I didn't add one. Or do you want to use the new one? And of course, you're going to use the new one. The reason you keep the old one in there is in case something goes wrong and we need to go back and get those old emails. Right? So that's how you create the profile. And you can create the profile at any time. You don't have to do anything with the MX records because the MX records have nothing to do with Outlook going to get your email. MX is only the outside world sending email to you. That's the only time the MX record comes into play. Your Outlook goes out and fetches the email from the email servers that you explicitly specified in those configuration boxes. So, for example, once you change your MX records, you will still be able to open this profile and go to Yahoo, BizMail, and get your mail. Sort of. And that's the unknown. That's why I'm concerned about making sure we have a copy of the email account, is that once you change the MX record, once you set up your domain in SiteGround, is it going to require that you disconnect that domain from BizMail? I don't know that it would. I don't think it should, but it might. And so we have to protect the PST file that's on that user's computer to make sure that we don't lose their existing email. Okay. Now, let me go back. Since we're talking about PST files. Let's go back to Control Panel. If you want to know where the user's current PST file is, you go back, you open Mail, and you look at Data Files. Here, for example, are my 2 emails on my computer. This is the folder location where if I was using PSTs, I'm not, I'm using OSTs, but in your case, for POP and SMTP, there will be these 2 files or 1 file, whatever it happens, however many user accounts you have configured. This is where the PST will be. And as long as we protect that PST, we will be able to import that email into the SiteGround, and I can show you that after we get the account set up and we're moving forward with that. So that's what I meant by what you do in Mail, aka Outlook, to set up a new profile.